Cannot walk alone, the preacher cried, and as we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. America, we cannot turn back. Not with so much work to be done, not with so many children to educate, and so many veterans to care for, not with an economy to fix, cities to rebuild, and farms to save, not with so many families to protect, and so many lives to mend. At this moment, in this election, we must pledge once more to march into the future. Let us keep that promise, that American promise, and in the words of Scripture hold firmly, without wavering, to hope that we confess. These words come from Barack Obama's 2008 acceptance speech for the presidential nomination. During that time, the country was going through economic turmoil, and they needed a strong leader to help combat this serious matter. Barack Obama has left a lasting legacy on this country. He has made it so anyone can reach their full potential to strive for what they want to do. He is an example of overcoming adversity by becoming the first African American president of the United States. Let's begin with Obama's inauguration address. His address wanted to accomplish 4 things, and according to John Chait, they are as follows: economic recovery measures, healthcare reform, a response to climate change, and an education reform were all part of his agenda. Some call his agenda as setting the bar too high. For economic recovery, his responses were an $800 billion stimulus, a bank reorganization, and an auto bailout. None of these really helped. However, not trying anything would have sent our country into an economic depression. Obama's education plans were reforming standards nationally. He also made it possible to provide a broader access to kindergarten and college education. Obama's goal in energy was to, according to him, to double the nation's supply of renewable energy in the next 3 years. Since then, solar energy has tripled, and wind capacity has increased 16-fold. Obama's most controversial plan in his agenda was the healthcare reform. During this time, there were a lot of bumps along the way. When the website was first introduced for the Affordable Care Act, many people could not get on. Many people could not register to get health insurance. However, the website has now changed, and more and more people are registering for health insurance thanks to the Affordable Care Act. Even though a lot of people disagreed with his measure, the Affordable Care Act is now law of the land, and it is available to every state in this country. With his efforts, the uninsured rate has dropped significantly. His last goal in his agenda when he first became president was to address climate change. And just last year, he had addressed this at a national summit with other leaders, and he had finally made aware that climate change is a serious issue, and we as people need to fix the problem. So with that in mind, Obama has completed all 4 of his goals when he first became president back in 2009. So in conclusion, there has been some debate whether Obama's presidency has been a legacy. This man has dealt with many struggles throughout the whole political spectrum. He has dealt with a disagreeable caucus that stopped him at every turn. American people have grown to dislike him, yet he continues to do good for this country. His presidency has been a series of compromises. That may be true, but in order for those compromises to be met, he and Congress had to work together to reach those compromises. He didn't do it all by himself.